In this lesson, we're going to introduce the idea of TCP/IP sockets by providing you with a very simple client program that connects to a Whois server. Whois allows you to see some internet domain registration information about a specific domain. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about a socket. A socket is a way to make a connection with a server. Typically, when you're communicating via sockets, you have a server socket and a client socket. And in fact, you have to have both to have two-way communication. In this lesson, we're going to see, just in general, how to create what is really a client socket that allows us to connect to a Whois server. In the next lesson, we'll talk about creating a server socket, and then in the lesson after that, I'll demonstrate how to create a client socket, and then we'll connect our client socket to the server socket. But let's get started now on our sample client socket in a Whois client. So we're going to call this program Whois. First, we'll do our importing. Create our class. And then work into main here. For now, we'll just have a generic exception. We're not going to try to use try-catch here in this example, but in our next two lessons, we will be using try-catch. So the first thing we're going to do is create a socket. And we do that with the socket class. And then we're going to provide the name of our server, which is whois.internic.net. And the port that we're going to connect to, the Whois port, is 43, so that's the second parameter that we provide. Next, we're going to create input stream objects, which are created using the get input stream method, and an output stream object, which is created with the get output stream method, just like so. Next, we're going to create a string variable that stores the domain we're going to try to search for, infiniteskills.com, and we also need a new line character at the end of that to make sure that the command is executed correctly. That's important to include that \n. Next, we have to convert our string into bytes. Bytes will be how we transmit the string. So the string class has a getBytes method that will take a string and turn it into bytes, and then we put it into a byte array, which we're calling buffer, kind of a standard name for that. Now we're ready to send the command. So we write output write buffer, and that sends our command through the socket. At that point, we're ready to get the input that comes back. So we have a while loop that grabs the characters as they're coming in to the socket, and then we're going to write them out to the console, converting each one to char as we go. And the last thing we need to do is close our socket. And there we go. So we'll save this, go to our command window, compile it, now run it. And there's our registration information about infiniteskills.com. So we go back through the program. We create a socket. We create an input stream to receive data. We create an output stream to send data. We organize the data to send, and we send it. And then in the while loop, we receive the data as characters, as bytes, and then we convert those bytes into chars so that we can read the output. And the output is our domain registration information. So that's a simple introduction to socket client programming. Now let's move on to the next lesson, where we're going to look at a little more complex example where we're going to create our own socket server.